Now, Hillary Clinton has emerged from the woods to the delight of some of her very hardcore supporters and not much else. Now, last Thursday, she spoke at the Women in the World Summit, and she was basically asked a question about Bernie Sanders. Now, that's funny because last I knew, Donald Trump beat her in the general, with the Electoral College, and not Bernie Sanders. So this is very interesting. Now, New York Times columnist Nicholas Kristof basically asked Clinton this question. Now, I'm looking for lessons learned, and in particular, to what extent do you assign blame to Bernie Sanders, to the media, for focusing on emails? Now, in response, she said, well, how much time do we have? How much time do we have? Well, okay, so, look, there's a couple of things that I have an issue with. Now, afterwards, she, of course, goes into, well, it's Russia, it's the Putin, and then we got the Comey emails, basically taking no responsibility at all for her loss. Okay. Especially to Donald Trump. Okay. Now, you have the establishment Democrat framing, right? So, this framing is, well, how much do you blame other people for your loss and not yourself? Well, as if she was some sort of perfect and blameless candidate. A candidate who descended from the heavens to save us from the horribleness of Donald Trump, but was unfortunately thwarted by the jealous evildoers of the Sanders progressive wing. I mean, who could not stand to see such a heavenly woman finally get her turn to be president? It's disgusting. So what's worse is her, of course, response. Well, how much time do I have? Okay, well, why don't you start off by saying something like, well, look, I made some miscalculations. Some big mistakes, and I have learned from this. Instead, it's like, well, how much time do I have to blame Russia and blame Bernie Sanders and progressives? I mean, it's going to take a while for me to explain all of my different failures in this realm. Wow. Now, look, again, not saying her loss is 100% her fault. There were external factors, of course. But most of that blame, unfortunately, falls on her and the Democratic Party establishment. Now, she didn't focus, for example, her campaign on Wisconsin and Michigan. She didn't offer a compelling vision in contrast against Donald Trump. She offered the establishment. She offered identity politics. And she offered, hey, look, Donald Trump is bad. He's a bad, bad man. Okay, well, he might be a bad person, and he is a bad person. We've pointed out many segments where he is a terrible person and a terrible candidate. But what are you going to offer? What's your vision for America? How are you going to help regular working people who are struggling right now? Because again, at this point, people were desperate for change, and they thought, well, hey, look, I don't like Donald Trump. He might be a sexist, or, you know, he might be into grabbing pussies, but God damn it, my family's hurting here. I need a change. This establishment is not working for me, and I'm going to throw a brick through your window. Hopefully, you can at least listen to me. I'm trying to get your attention here. Why are you not listening? Okay, fine. We'll vote for the worst guy and let's see what happens. Let's overturn your apple cart. And that's exactly what people did. And all she said was, hey, vote for me. I'm better than Donald Trump, and I will offer zero change. Yay, establishment. We saw that that was not a winning message. It's just not a winning message. And look, that's not to say that Donald Trump hasn't proven to be completely in the pocket of the establishment. He ended up duping a lot of people into thinking that he was anti-corruption, anti-Citizens United, which is absolutely laughable. He just nominated Judge Gorsuch, who was incredibly pro-Citizens United and pro-corporation. He also said, oh, no, I'm against war. Oh, look, we just launched strikes on Syria, on Syrian airfields. And now we have warships heading towards North Korea. What about being anti-media? No. As soon as he attacked Syria, the media fawned over him like a bunch of sycophants. I covered that. It was disgusting. And now what this answer by Clinton also highlights is her hubris. No, I was so good I couldn't lose except if there was treachery, if there was Putin. She thought that in a fair fight, she could not lose against Donald Trump. Now, the implication, of course, is that, again, it wasn't fair because damn progressives, damn Bernie Sanders, he ruined my campaign by actually challenging me and running a primary, a competitive primary. You see, and that's what, unfortunately, all these mainstream Democrats seem to think. Oh, don't primary me. You're going to hurt my chances in a general election. If I lose, it's on you, not on me. No, you know what primaries do? They might actually make you a better candidate if you get primaried from the left. Or maybe if there's a better candidate, he'll take your place and actually win the general election. But see, they're so absolutely scared because, again, they don't want to lose their power. They don't want to lose their seats. They don't want to lose their connection with the donors. They don't want to lose that donor money or their jobs. And that's why they hate primaries. They actually want to be able to take corporate money and not serve their actual constituents, regular people, but serve the corporations that serve the Chamber of Commerce. So they hate those primaries. Now, the thing about Republicans that I actually do give them credit for is the fact that they have primaries. They do primaries all the time. They're not afraid to put up primary challenges. And guess what happens when you put up primary challenges? You win. Even if you're running on faux populism, you still win. And look what happened. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House, and they control 69 out of 99 legislatures. I'm not saying that that's necessarily because they do primaries, but can't hurt. They do a lot of primaries a lot. Now, the thing is, they won, but they can't govern. They have no interest in governing because unlike progressives, they never wanted to. All they wanted to do was just get into the government, take it apart, sell it off to their donors. That's not what the people voted for. The people are actually far more progressive. But the thing is, the Republicans are actually afraid of their base. Whereas the Democrats, they don't care. They don't care about the progressive base because historically, Democrats don't actually challenge them to be progressive. And that's the problem here. And unfortunately, I think that's going to change from now on. But what hasn't changed is the establishment blaming Bernie Sanders, blaming the emails, blaming WikiLeaks, blaming Comey, blaming the FBI, and blaming Russia. That's not the way to win. Okay? And besides, if those were so damaging during the election, well, how come more Americans came out and voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump? How come it wasn't an absolute blowout? If there were so many questions, if there were so many issues with the Clinton campaign, why did she get more votes? No, look, she lost because she didn't campaign where it counts. And she lost the working class to a charlatan clown selling snake oil. And where was Bernie Sanders throughout this whole thing? You know what he was doing? He was out there every day campaigning his ass off for her. He was in more places campaigning for Hillary Clinton than Hillary Clinton was. Come on, man. And you know what? So are a lot of the progressives that they like to blame. Despite having deep misgivings about Clinton, a lot of progressives actually went out there and they voted and they campaigned for Hillary Clinton. So how dare you blame Bernie Sanders and progressives for your loss? Now, look, you might be asking at this point, why do I continue to litigate this? Why do I keep relitigating this issue? Primary's over. We have Donald Trump. We need to unite so that we can fight against Trump. Well, no, because the reason that I'm doing this is because until they learn their lesson, we on the left are not going to be effective at fighting the Republicans who want to literally dismantle the government and sell it off to corporations. We're not going to be effective in fighting this until we actually do come together. And that's going to be a huge problem if the Democrats and the DNC and Hillary Clinton continue to spout off that it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. No, it was them Bernie Sanders folks. It was Bernie Sanders. It was progressives. It was Comey. It was the FBI. It was the WikiLeaks. It was all this outside stuff. Our candidate was 100% perfect and did no wrong. Well, you're not going to have any sort of unity. You're not going to have any sort of coherent message to attack the Republicans. All you're going to do is going to continue this, prompting this infighting between the progressives and the establishment wing. And you are not going to win. You are not going to win whatsoever. What we're asking for for to start is a little humility. Maybe you should start accepting the faults of a poorly run campaign and a candidate who was deeply flawed at a time where people demanded change. You ran to the establishment. You didn't run on change. You ran on keeping everything the same. That's why you lost. Look, if we're going to have any hope of beating Trump and the Republicans, and not only that, but actually doing progressive policy, well, the Democratic Party has to change. Okay? Clintonism, it's gone. It has to go away. Clinton herself has to go away. If there's going to be any sort of healing, if there's going to be any sort of chances of beating the Republicans and beating Trump in 2020. But sadly, as you can see, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So where we go from here, I have no idea. But it seems like right now, we cannot rely on the Democrats to change a goddamn thing. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.